Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NOORUL binti JAHIR and this is my friend.
My name is Suraya binti MAZLAN.
So today I want to talk about our Pairwork. We use one of communication styles which is interpersonal communication by interviewing someone. James M. Blake has defined that an interview is a conversation usually between two people that is confined to a specific subject. The role of the interviewer is to seek information, that of the interviewers is to provide it. So Alia, I want to ask you, what can you conclude from our last interview session?
So from our interview session, based on the title Teaching Skills and Experience Teaching STPM Students, there are a lot of difference before compared to now in terms of education. Nowadays, there are more technology facilities than before. And in the old days, more chalk and talk technique were used. Despite that, there are some teachers actually use technologies like projector or OSP to teach and are still used until now. But in this modern age or modern era, we need to use technology for our own good. In the end, the best way to actually teach is to combine all the skills, which is speaking, viewing, and also listening, because they are all have their own purpose. And for Mrs. Salma, which is our interviewee, she have been teaching in Form 6 for a lot of years. And in her opinion, the biggest obstacle in becoming an excellent student is the student themselves. In secondary school, there are a lot of difficulties in class control, but not in pre-university, which is Form 6. There are challenges in terms of knowledge. The main cause of students skipping class in secondary school is due to the teacher themselves, but not anymore in university. Bonding between students and also a teacher is very important to ensure that the student actually can be successful in their study. For her, she loves her job as an educator, as she can see her students be successful in their study, in their life. There are no need to actually get full-fledged in STPM, but all she wants is her students to get pointed that enough for them to get accepted into a university.
Yeah.
So, Fazia, can you tell more about our interviewer? Who she is, or where did she come from? Where did she teach?
Okay, so our interviewer is Mrs. Salma binti Uthman. She is one of the Form 6 teacher at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Bandar Sungai Petani at Sungai Petani Kedah.
So why did we actually choose her to be our interviewer?
So in my opinion, I think the reasons why we choose her as our interviewer, because she has a lot of experiences in teaching, and she has been in this education industry for almost 31 years, and we expected to learn a lot from her too, from this interview. And we actually close to her, and I think that we close to her because she is our teacher when we both in Form 6 and also the head teacher of our class, and she is also close to us, that we consider her as our own mother, and because she always care about us, not only as a student but also like her own child.
So what did actually communication is about?
Okay, based on the book What is Communication by Alan Barker, communication is the act of transmitting and receiving information. There is two types. The first type is verbal communication, and the second type is non-verbal communication. Okay, so Alia, let me ask you now, what do you know about the verbal communication?
Verbal communications is the use of spoken words to actually convey thoughts, ideas, and emotion. Verbal communication is perhaps the most obvious and understood mode of communication, and it is a certainly powerful tool in your communication toolbox. Based on verbal communication by Andrea Rocci and Louis Desautre, verbal communication is arguably the most pervasive form of communication in human society. Put simply, verbal communication is sharing of information between two individuals using words. Verbal communication skills include thinking before one speaks, knowing your audience, being precise and concise, being prepared to clarify fairly manner, and finally speaking clearly. In our interview, the interviewee used a few types of verbal communications, include be clear while speaking and also confident. She used her clear voice to answer all of our questions, and it makes the listener focus on her talk. It will also make the audience or listener think that she is well prepared and confident to answer all of our questions. So, let me ask you, what is non-verbal communication?
So, based on the book Communication by C.S. Rayudu, non-verbal communication is a message without using arbitrary symbols, words, or meaning of word, or we can call it as wordless communication. Example of non-verbal communication skills include a firm handshake, eye contact when communicating, smiling or nodding when someone is talking to indicate interest, leaning forward to indicate interest and engagement, and also raising one's hand to indicate the desire to speak. So, our interviewee used different types of non-verbal skills, which is the first one is her facial expression. There's always smile while answering the questions. Her gesture, which is her hand gesture that can be used to convey intensity, confidence, and even be used to gain attention to a point that you are trying to make. So next is eye contact, which is she make and maintaining her eye contact with us when she verbally communicating or listening communicates to us that show that she interested in and engaged in our conversation. So lastly, about her appearance, obviously we can see that at the first sight, as we saw her, we can tell that by her appearance that she is a teacher. Why? Because she elegantly wearing a traditional Malay woman clothes, which is we call as baju kurung, and she also wearing hijab that maintaining her look as a teacher in the school.
So it is the end of our reflection video for our interview sessions. See you next time. Bye
Bye bye.